A city in California has put into effect what seems to be the first law requiring liability insurance for gun owners. This is San Jose. They voted Tuesday night to require that for people who own guns. It's the first of its kind in a city in America. Under the proposed ordinance, all San Jose residents who own a firearm must maintain a homeowner's, renter's, or gun liability insurance policy that specifically covers losses or damages resulting from any negligent or accidental use of the firearm, including if the gun is stolen or lost. The owner would be considered liable until the theft or loss is reported to authorities. However, gun owners who don't have insurance won't lose their guns or face any criminal charges. It's apparently sort of a fine situation. So it could be stronger, but this means that you will be responsible for the deadly weapon you're choosing to have around. And what I love is that before, if your gun was stolen or lost, presumably you weren't considered liable. You didn't have to report it. Oh, guess I gotta get another gun. Somebody's out there with a weapon they really want it right now, but whatever. You don't need to talk about it.
You know, it's great to see some more accountability with gun ownership. I'm a little bit dubious about where the money is gonna go. Anytime it involves insurance, it's like, is this really gonna do anything? Because it's gonna go to a nonprofit. They haven't decided what nonprofit, so somebody's gonna establish it. How are they gonna implement? They're supposed to, provide suicide awareness. So I'd like to know more information before I'm in all favor for it. I'd like to make it a little bit harder for people to get guns, not just have insurance if you have one. Let's make it a little bit more of a process and a screening process to get guns. I'm not against it, people having guns, but let's just not pass them out like Tic Tacs.
Yeah, 100%. Well, we have a little bit of information about the goals for some of the money. So in addition to what we've already talked about, San Jose gun owners will be asked to pay an annual fee of between $25 to $35 to a nonprofit organization that will be created to manage the funds and use them to provide a broad range of services to residents who own a firearm or live in a household with someone that does, including suicide prevention programs, domestic violence services, mental health and addiction services, and firearm safety training, according to the city's ordinance. And by the way, there is a carve out if you are, let's see, a sworn, active, reserve, or retired police officer, people who have a license to carry a concealed weapon, so it's entirely possible this will just result in more people getting that, and low income residents who are exempt from paying court fees because of their financial state. So there is an understanding about the financial burden in theory, and people who presumably for their job, police officers are likely to have guns, will not have to pay that. But this could result in a little bit of help to people who will end up being victims of gun violence. Even those who didn't purchase it, don't own a gun. If you live near a gun, you are statistically more likely to be a victim of violence coming from it.
I'd like to see some caveats saying if it's not locked up properly, then there's some sort of responsibility, stuff like that. But it gets tricky, John. This whole freedom deal, we got to protect it, and we got to make. So it's a new. Okay, we're working towards stuff. California is a bit more advanced than other states in regards to responsibility towards gun ownership. It's a little bit more difficult to get a gun in this state than in other states, but we're far away from really protecting people from mass shootings and getting guns in the hands of 13-year-old angsty white boys.
And look at the position that people who see the massive amount of gun violence and think that that's a bad thing. I would wish that that was everybody in America, but clearly it isn't. The position they've been put in terms of reform. So no matter what you propose, no matter how mild, no matter how experimental or whatever, it is presented as being the equivalent of instituting a nationwide seizure of every gun, which basically nobody has ever proposed. You can't ask for people to have insurance. You can have insurance for things like a car. I mean, that's deadly, but a gun, no, that's necessary. You can't, for instance, look at how they've responded to the sale of smart guns, guns that will only trigger for people who have their fingerprint registered. Gun owners, or the NRA at least, regular gun owners probably don't mind. And right-wing pundits absolutely despise that. They lose their minds over it. So they say you're coming for our guns, but when gun law reform advocates are just trying to make it a little bit more responsible, making sure that people have help. You can still have the gun, but let's try to make it a little bit harder for your kid to grab it, put it in his backpack, and go do a mass shooting at a school. They lose their minds over that too. They are absolute out of control radicals on this topic.
And they're doing it. That just shot up a school, his mom knew he had the gun. I mean, this is not stopping what we really need to stop. There's a lot, and that's why I'd like to see what this money is being spent on. And I get a little bit dubious when I hear insurance, because has car insurance really prevented more accidents? Or I don't know, I guess victims of hit and runs and what can get. So let's see what's done with this money, because we have a really big problem in this country, and I don't know that having insurance alone is going to be really the solution.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm interested. I think that, democracy is supposed to be, a lot of experiments and everything. I'd like to see how it goes, but also remember, in a lot of places, it's difficult to get anything done. You have to be clever to come up with something that won't immediately be stopped by a huge influx of money from gun interests. So yeah, we'll see. Maybe they're trying to do something. We'll see how it goes.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.